Salut Yanine et bienvenue au corps aujourd'hui. Right guys, I hope you're all well, your families are all well and everything's alright. Je vais expliquer ce qu'on va faire aujourd'hui. Alors donc, c'est un peu de révision aussi parce qu'on va faire de grammaire en français et on va faire le parfait. Voilà, we're looking at the perfect tense, the past perfect tense. Now I know you've done it, we did it in year 8 and then we really went down with it in year 9. Well, this year, earlier in this year, we really looked at it, but this is GCSE and this is a huge part of it, yeah? So on your writing exam, 1/4 of the questions, 25% will be in the past tense. So if you know this and you know the rules, you're going to absolutely nail that section. If you don't, you're going to lose big marks. In the speaking exam, it's roughly the same. We're going to go through the different sorts of tenses to show like your knowledge and your range and how well you understand the grammar. So you need to know this off by heart. Now, knowing the grammar and being good at the grammar, that's how to get 7s, 8s and 9s. And it's not just knowing the rules so you can answer the key questions. You've got to know this so well that you can use, and when you get that past tense question on your exam, you can think, right, this is in the past. I need to show my range. I need to show this type of verb, that type of verb to get the top marks. Now, this will be tough today, even though we're revising, and it will seem like a big test. And I remember feeling exactly the same about this when I was in school, thinking, God, there's so much to remember. This is just one tense. But now, when I speak in the past tense, I don't even think about these rules and what I talk to you about. It just comes off my tongue like I'm speaking English to you. And that's how good you'll get if you practice. I worked and practiced really hard on this when I was in year 10, really. To get good, you need to do the same. So, that's what it's all about today, guys. We're doing the past tense. Je vais expliquer un peu plus. Mais, pour commencer, excusez-moi, vous savez ce qu'il faut faire. S'il vous plaît, copiez les dates et copiez le titre du jour aujourd'hui. Et pour votre contrôle de post-it aujourd'hui, je voulais vous montrer que vous savez les différences entre les temps. Alors donc, numéro 1, I watch, c'est au présent. Numéro 2, I watched, c'est au passé. Présent, passé, présent, passé. Comment dire les 6 choses ici? Mettez-moi sur pause. Copiez la date, copiez le titre et faites le contrôle de post-it. Et quand tu es prêt pour les réponses, recommencez la vidéo. Bon courage! Hello mes petits, right guys, if you've restarted me, you're ready for these answers. So today we're looking at this, I've said it in the title, the GCSE must know. You've got to master this tense, not just know it, be able to master it and use it, because it'll be 25% of most of your exam for the reading and for the writing and the speaking at least. So that's what we're going to do today. How well did you know this? Or this post-it note test is trying to test you on some of our key rules. Donc on commence. Comment dire I watch au présent? C'est je regarde. Voilà, je regarde is I watch. So change it to the past. You need to think about the rules. It should be j'ai regardé. Now, I know some of you just put an E with the accent on there and you've still got the je. Absolument pas. You're lucky you're at home, because if I caught you doing that, I would hit you severely across the face, because the first rule is in the past tense. Remember, you have to have the have, and there it is. This is golden rule number 1 today. We're going to be talking about this. Alors donc, this is what most verbs look like, but we're at GCSE now and we're going for top grades, so we need to think about different types of verb. And aller, the verb to go, is an irregular verb. So I go is je vais, because it's irregular. It changes completely. You've got to know that off by heart. Je vais, tu vas, il va, il va, nous allons, vous avez, ils vont, ils vont, just like the song. So it's also irregular in the past. I went, you don't say I have gone. It's not j'ai allé, it is je suis allé. We're going to talk about this today and why it's like that. Alright, 5 and 6 is a bit of a trick question because it's not the right past tense. C'est is it is. C'était is it was. Now we'll be talking, I know we've done this tense, yeah, we've done this tense in year 9 already. We're going to be talking about this a bit more next lesson, guys, but it's this and this that we're really looking at today. This is what we're practicing. Let's see what you already know. Alors mes petits, donc sur la feuille que j'ai téléchargée aujourd'hui, vous avez cette activité pour commencer, et c'est un sup de mots. Vous savez ce qu'il faut faire. Donc ici, j'ai 4 phrases en anglais. Dans le bol, vous avez le vocabulaire. Il faut traduire 1, 2, 3, 4 en français en utilisant les mots. Par exemple, we have visited the cinema. So you have to have the have. Alors, nous avons visité le cinéma and then together is on ensemble. Voila, look how I'm so good at this task. Right, guys, give yourself 4 minutes, see how far you can go. Extra challenges at the bottom here. See if you can answer this key question for me. Put me on pause. You've got 4 minutes and you restart the video. I'll go straight into the answers. Bon courage, mes petits. On y va. Alors, mes petits, right, guys, I'm going to go through the answers. How did you get on this? All the rules, or a lot of the rules we're looking at today, are going to be in here. So let's see what you've got. Numéro 1. We visited the museum together. So in English, we can say we visited, but in French, we always say we have visited. C'est nous avons visité le cinéma ensemble. Easy. I did that one for you. Come on. Alors, donc, numéro 2, c'est un peu plus difficile. We ate in a restaurant or we have eaten in a restaurant. C'est la même chose. Nous avons mangé dans un restaurant. Facile. I'm sure you lot are blitzed through this today for the first two. Facile et facile. Toi, c'est un peu plus difficile, hein? Alors donc, numéro 3. I went to the stadium to see a football match. Now this goes back to our post-it note starter. How do you say I went? It's a bit different. C'est je suis allé au stade pour voir un match de foot. Did you get this one? We're going to be talking about this today, the je suis. Et finalement, I found the date terrible. It was a disastrous night. She must have gone out with one of you. All right, guys, so this is what you should have. J'ai trouvé la rencontre terrible. C'était une soirée désastreuse. Remember, your adjective comes after the noun, so the disastrousness has to come before the night. Right, guys? Bon effort. Now, this is pretty straightforward for you, year 9. It's easy. So, what tense are these in? They're all in the past tense. You know this. How do you know? Well, there's 2 clues. You've got the have, and I've only used ER verbs here to keep it simple. So, they all ended in E with an accent, and that's your clue. J'ai is I have. It comes from avoir, which you've got to know off by heart, which I'll be testing you on in a minute, by the way. And then, what does je suis mean? Hang on. Je suis means I am. So what is going on with number 3? Why is it je suis allé and not j'ai allé? Well, if you don't know, don't worry. We're going to go through all the answers now. By the end of this lesson, you're going to know every single rule there is to know about the past tense. Literally every single one. Like year 13 will know as much as you do after this lesson. So let's get going tout le monde. Alors mes petits, right guys, 7 key questions today for our past tense. What I want you to do is put me on pause, look through these questions. How many of them can you answer? How many can you work out? When you think you're ready, restart, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to talk through each of the questions. If you think you can answer all 7, don't skip me talking through it. Still listen and make sure you go through our little tests today. So put me on pause now. How many of these do you know? Alors mes petits, right guys, let's go through each of those rules one by one. Let's start with the basics. Let's start right at the start to make sure you're ready. So the problem and where so many good GCSE students go wrong with the past tense is because fundamentally there's a difference between English and French in it. So have a little look at this to help you remember. Look at the red box. This in English, I have eaten, he has eaten. That's the past tense in English. I can also say in English, I ate and he ate. Now, they're still the past tense, but they're a different tense. And that's because in English, there's 2 forms of the past tense. Whenever you say I have done something, it's because the consequences go into the present tense. So your mum will say, have you eaten yet? I've eaten a sandwich, mum. Or yeah, I've already eaten. So that's when you say I have in English. If you say I ate and he ate, it's purely in the past. Now, if you want to know more about that, when you get to university, study linguistics. But if you're content with that answer, that's how it's like in English. With French, it's different because this type of the verb doesn't exist. Because in English, we can say I played, I watched, I went, I did. In French, you can never say that. You always say this version of the past tense here. In other words, you have to have the have, and this is what we've got here. Whenever you're translating it, you have to have the have. So in English, leave it out. In French, never do. You have to have the have. So for this, we need our verb to have. So what is our verb to have in French? Avoir is the correct answer. How does it change? Like this. It goes j'ai, tu as, il, elle, en a, nous avons, vous avez, ils, ont, and you need to know that completely off by heart. You need to know this verb better than you know anything else in your lives because you will need to use it for other people to get a 7+. Look how good I am. J'ai, tu as, il, elle, en a, nous avons, vous avez, ils, ont. Easy. Easy. This is what you need to do. So the first step, we always have to have the have, never leave it off. The second bit, what would be wrong, right? If I said to you, this morning, I have drink a cup of coffee and I have watched some TV and then I have play a bit of football. What's wrong with all that? The second verb isn't right. You've got to change it. Now, when I was a teacher in France, I remember teaching this and they used to say things like, I learned this last year. And I'd be like, no, you've got to say, I learned this last year. And they were like, why? I was like, oh God, I don't know. Because in English, there's so many different ways to end a verb. I learned, I did, I read, which is exactly the same as I read. You just pronounce it different. What is going on? So in English, there's a million different ways. But in French, it's a lot more simple because in French, there's 3 types of verb depending on our verb ending. We have verbs ended in er and ir and re. Er, ir, re verbs. And all we need to do is follow a pattern to change that to put them in the past. So in the past tense, you have to have the have. And then if the verb you're using ends in er, change that er to an e with an accent. J'ai joué, j'ai regardé, j'ai écouté. If it's an ir verb, you change the ir to an I. Donc, j'ai fini, j'ai servi. That's what you need to do. Change it to an I. And then finally, if it's an re verb, not many are re verbs. If it's an re verb, you change the re to a u. J'ai attendu, j'ai vendu. This is what you need to know. So those are our 2 rules for the past tense for regular verbs. Number 1, you have to have the have. Then change the second verb. Er changes to e with an accent. Ir changes to an I. Re changes to a u. You got that? Let's put you to the test. Alors mes petits essais en contrôle. Donc ici, vous avez 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 et le 6e, c'est défi additionnel. Vous avez 5 phrases qu'il faut traduire. Ici, j'ai les 2 pas qu'il faut faire, mais j'ai effacé le verbe ici. J'ai, tu as, il est, l'on a. Donc, il faut traduire I have eaten or I ate en français. Put me on pause now. When you restart me, I'll go through the answers. Bon courage, mes petits. On y va. Alors, year 9, let's see what we've got. Okay, so the first bit, you have to take 2 steps. So I'm going to go through this step by step by step. If it's slow, it's good for you to see the thinking. So I have eaten or I ate. So remember, we have to have the have. So I have is j'ai, and then manger is an er verb. Er changes to an e with an accent. So it goes j'ai mangé. Simple. Alors, numéro 2, we have finished. This time we need we. So we have is nous avons. Ir changes to an I in the past. Nous avons fini. Que c'est simple. He watched. Okay, so this time you want he has, il a, and then regarder is an er verb. Change the er to an e with an accent. Il a regardé. Facile. Alors donc, les mêmes choses. I have finished. J'ai fini. We have waited is an re verb. The re changes to a u. Don't forget you have to have the have. Nous avons attendu. Simple petit demande. And then he listened. Il a écouté. Facile aujourd'hui. So this is step 1. This is for any regular verb. They follow the pattern. So if I throw some mad verbs at you, which I will do in the next few lessons, if they're regular, they just follow this pattern and you are done. Simple. This is what you must show for your GCSE. Learn this off by heart. This is step 1. Alors, right guys, jusqu'ici tu vas bien, which means so far so good. So we've got up to number 4. Put me on pause. See if you can answer these questions. Alright guys, so let's go through the answers. First off, the past tense has 2 parts. What you have to have, you have to have the have. You can never leave it out. A verb to have is avoir. Now I've put auxiliary here because you have to have the have isn't how the grammar books actually say it. It's called an auxiliary verb. The have is the auxiliary. And then what do you have to change? You change the second verb to put it in the past tense, like I have played, I have watched, I have learnt. Alors, why does it matter the type of the verb? Remember, this tells us how to change it. So an er changes to e with an accent, an ir changes to an I, and an re changes to a u. Exactement. Okay, that will work with most of verbs, but our most popular verbs, and the one we use the most, they're usually irregular verbs. And if they're irregular, they're not going to follow this regular pattern. They're going to change completely. All right. We're going to look at these irregulars now. Now, the most important thing to say is you still have to have the have, but this pattern here isn't going to help you with our irregular verbs. Et voilà, here they are. So remember, we still have to have the have. For regular verbs, have kept the pattern up, but you're going to hit irregulars when it comes to your GCSE, and all the ones you need to know for the GCSE are down here, 15. In fact, you don't need to know all these for the GCSE. I've added a few because it's good for you. Shut up. So let's go for it. You need to remember these. Now, you still have to have the have, but rather than this RE change into a U, the verb changes completely to put it into the past, like did, saw, read, drank, wanted. That's what you need to do. This word changes. So to remember it, the first 5 are easy. Got a little rhyme. Fait, vu, lu, bu, velu. Voilà. Fait, vu, lu, bu, velu. That's how you remember the first bit. Fait, vu, lu, bu, velu. If it's one of those verbs, trace it back. You know you need to change it. It's irregular. Fait, vu, lu, bu, velu. See if you can do it faster than me. Fait, vu, lu, bu, velu. You're rubbish. Fait, vu, lu, bu, velu. Fait, vu, lu, bu, velu. I'm so good at that. Fait, vu, lu, bu, velu. Have a little go at home. Fait, vu, lu, bu, velu. See that? And then you've got the next one that you can put together. Été, pris, mis, du. Été, pris, mis, du. Été, pris, mis, du. So put the two together. Fait, vu, lu, bu, velu. Été, pris, mis, du. Fait, vu, lu, bu, velu. Été, pris, mis, du. Okay, I'm going to go for it. Fait, vu, lu, bu, velu. Été, pris, mis, du. I'm just so slow on that next bit. Alright, you have a go and pause me while you're having a go. Alright, I'm going to go from the top. Fait, vu, lu, bu, velu. Été, pris, mis, du. That was pretty good. Put me on pause, see if you can do it. I'm going to do one more. Oh no, that was rubbish. Alright, so you need to learn these off by heart. And then our last one doesn't really rhyme. You don't really need to know these. Vécu, dit, écrit, connu, su. Vécu, dit, écrit, connu, su. No, it's too hard. So these are the ones you need to learn, these 15 and how they change. Now in lockdown is the ideal time to do this. You can sit at home, you can watch them, you can practice saying fait, vu, lu, bu, velu, été, pris, mis, du, vécu, dit, écrit, connu, su. You can practice that all the time you want. You need to know these if you want to get a top grade. Alors mes petits, right guys, so I've only chosen the first 5 that go with the rhyme. I've still taken avoir away. You've got to know this verb. What I want you to do is put me on pause, translate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, have a little go. Bon courage, on y va. Alors mes petits, right guys, let's go for our answers and see what you've got. So remember, we still have to have the have. That is a constant. So I did is going to be I have done. Donc il faut dire j'ai, and then faire changes to fait. J'ai fait. Voilà. We saw, you have to have the have. Nous avons, and then voir changes to vu. Fait, vu, lu, bu, velu. Yeah? And then he read, il a lu, I drank, j'ai bu, we wanted. I love this. Listen to how beautiful this sounds. Nous avons voulu, love that. Nous avons voulu faire ça. Et finalement, he loved. Now, why is this an extra challenge? Because it's a regular verb. You just have to follow the pattern. Il a adoré, or I'll accept il a aimé as well. Right. These are the irregulars. This is what you have to know. Alors mes petits, right guys. So far we've covered questions 1 to 5. Can you answer them? Put me on pause now. Be honest with yourself. See if you can go through it. Alors mes petits, right guys. So the answers, the past tense has 2 parts because unlike English, you have to have the have. In French, you always say I have played, I have watched, I have done. What do we need to change? We need to change our second verb. How do we change it? Depends on what type of verb it is. If it's an ER verb, which most verbs are, the ER changes to it turns to an E with an accent. An IR verb, change it to an I. RE verb changes to U. With irregular verbs, they don't follow that pattern. You have to remember what they are, and you have to remember they still have the have, and then they change completely. Fait, voulu, bu, voulu, été, pris, mis, du. Can't remember the last one, so you need to remember that they change completely. All right, so far so good, but you all need to know the next steps because this is where it gets really, really tough. What happens to verbs of motion? Let's have a look. Alors mes petits, let's cast your mind back to the word soup we've done. Here it is. And we talked about this one, je suis allé au stade, and it translated to I went to the stadium. So think about the key questions we've just looked at. You know, this breaks our key rule. We have to have the have. But je suis doesn't mean I have. It means I am. So this literally says I am gone or I am went to the stadium. Why? Well, it's because of a rule in French about motion verbs in the past tense. And here it is. So a handful of verbs. it's about 14, 15. You don't say in French, I have gone, I have arrived, I have come, I have left. You don't say that. You say I am, or you is, or he is, or you are, or he or she is. So 4 verbs of motion in the past tense. You still have to have the have, but instead of saying have, you need to use être as verb to be, which is here. Just like avoir, you need to know this off by heart. Je suis, tu es, il est, on est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils, elles sont. This is how well you need to know this verb. Now, this is just for a certain section of verbs. Now, how are you going to remember them? Because there's 2 methods for you to learn. Now, this is the first method. This is what my my French teacher used to teach me, and I remember having to, there's a mistake in this, I remember having to write this out loads and loads and loads of times. I used to write all this row out, and then I used to write all this out, and then I used to do a test on it in class, and I used to forget loads of them. So these are all the verbs where you don't say j'ai for the past tense, you say je suis, or you don't use avoir if you're talking about others, going for 7, 8 or 9, you use être, and here they are. This is a way to learn them, this is a way to remember them. Dr. Mrs. Van der Trump. So that is the, what's this called? The mnemonic, is it? So every letter stands for something. So Dr. Mrs. Van der Trump, devenir, revenir, monter, rentrer. This helps you remember it. Now, this is one method, but there's an easier way to do it. And is this one here, guys. So this is what my 6th form teacher taught me, and when she told me, I thought, why has no one mentioned this to me in the past, and all the time I've spent trying to learn these off by heart. So any verb that expresses motion, you don't use j'ai, you use je suis. If you're going for 7 to 9, you don't use avoir, you use être for any motion verbs, and here they are. So it's just these verbs, and it's just motion as in your body moving from one place to another. So you might say, well, when I'm playing, I'm moving. You are, but that's not specifically suggesting your body is in motion. So all of these suggest your body moving. So look over here. He arrived, he went up, he went in, he stayed, he left, he went down, he fell, he left, he came back, he passed by. And then, because French is so beautiful and poetic, it even counts for when you're born into this world. That's your body moving into this world. And sadly, when you die, when you leave this world, when you go off to hell. I mean, I'm looking forward to hell. Seems like a party. So guys, this is what you need to know. These are our motion verbs. For all of these, you use être, not avoir. And if that wasn't hard enough to remember, the other thing, just with these verbs, just with the motion verbs, just with our être verbs, you also need to agree with them. What do we need by agree? So if it's feminine, you add an extra E, and if it's plural, you add an extra S. Just for these verbs, everyone says j'ai joué, j'ai mangé, and you don't add anything on. It's just when you say je suis allé, je suis retourné, je suis arrivé, that you need to agree. If you're feminine, or the thing you're describing is feminine, add an E. If you're plural, the things you're describing are plural, add an S. Alright, so this is just another slide that says basically exactly the same as what I've just said, but it's nice and clear here. You can see where to add the E, potentially, if you're talking to a female, if you're referring to something feminine, and then where to add the S. Alors, test time. This time I've given you être. You need to know this off by heart eventually, but I think this is pretty tough. I'll give you a break today. And then over here, we've got the verbs. All of these are être verbs, and they all follow that pattern. So what does the ER change to? What does the IR change to? And then finally, it's not on here, what you need to add for feminine and what you need to add for plural. There we go. These are the 3 things that you need to think about when you translate I went, we stayed, and I went out. Good luck, everyone. Put me on pause, see what you can do. On y va. Alors, right, guys, let's see what you've got. So I went. For this, remember, you don't say je, you say je suis, I am, and then aller, you change the ER to an E with an accent. Je suis allé. Now, there's different answers here for half of you. If you're masculine, je suis allé is fine. If you're feminine, you need that extra E on the end. So je suis allé, masculin, féminin, you've got to know the difference between the two. Alright, we stayed. So you're not saying we have stayed, it's a motion verb. You need to say we are stayed. So it's nous sommes Rester, the ER changes to an E with an accent to put it in the past. And if you're talking about we, there's more than one of you, and that's just so fat you refer to yourself as we because there's two of you. So you need an S on the end as well. You could potentially have an E if the we was all feminine. And then finally, I went out. So again, it's a motion verb, so you don't say have. You need to say I am gone out. So it is je suis, and then this is our verb. Get rid of that. The IR changes to an I, so get rid of the R. Je suis sorti, feminine. You need the extra E. Je suis sorti. Voila. Right, guys. That's the hardest bit of the past tense. So you've done it. Oh, nice one. Let's see what you've got. Put me on pause. See if you can answer all these questions. Bon courage. On y va. Hello, right, guys. So if you've restarted me, you want the answers. Let's blitz through our answers now. The past tense has two parts. You have to have the have. We change the second verb depending on if it's ER, IR, RE. ER changes to, IR changes to, RE changes to. Exactly. Irregular verbs don't do that. You still have to have the have, but you need to know what they change to. So fait, vu, lu, bu, voulu, été, pris, mis, dû, vécu, dit, écrit, vu, I can't remember. Alors donc, so you need to know all those irregular past participles off by heart. For motion verbs, you don't use j'ai, you don't use avoir, you use je suis, or être is our verb for the verb of motion. And for the endings, you have to add an E, feminine, and an S for plural. That should have been on the last slide. Right, guys, let's put you to the test. Let's see what you've got. You've got all the rules now on your sheet. I haven't tried to test you. I've put everything on there to help you out to see what you can do for this next activity. Alors donc, qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire pour cette activité? Ici, vous avez une phrase et pour difficulté Wort, qui est le plus facile, voilà. Ici, vous avez une verbe. Il faut conjuguer le verbe au passé. So remember, there's two spaces because there's two parts to the past tense. What do we have to have? What do we have to change? Alors donc, le premier, le week-end dernier, je sors en tennis. We need to say I have surfed. So you'd have j'ai surfé, et with an accent. He has visited the park and he has played football. Il a joué au parc. Il a visité le parc et il a joué au foot. Facile. Change the verb at the end for me, please. Numéro 2, voilà, ici, vous avez les phrases avec les erreurs. Some idiot has tried to have a go at the past tense. Look at that, disgusting. Andrea, you idiot. So, Andrea has messed all this up. You guys need to sort it out. There we go. Donc, dans chaque phrase, identifiez l'erreur et corrigez l'erreur. Par exemple, numéro 1, je fais du sport. What's wrong with this? You have to have the have. Should be j'ai fait du sport. Corrigez les phrases pour très difficile. And for our experts today, now this is tough because I've got loads of irregular verbs. That's your first hurdle. And I've also got motion verbs as well. Look at that, all mixed in together. So it's the same as the first activity. Change the verb into the past, but be careful because some are irregular, some are motion, some are like feminine, so they have to agree. Be really careful with this. This is expert difficulty level. Alors mes petits, right guys, stop me for 10 minutes and have a go at this for 10 minutes for me, please. See what you can do. You can pick your difficulty level. If you're looking at green and thinking this is too simple for me, fine, start an amber. In fact, you can just do gold, completely down to you. See what you can do. Good luck everyone. When you restart me, I'll go through the answers. Hello, right, how did you get on? I'm sure you've done really well on this. What I'll do is I'll properly go through some of the difficult ones, but I'll try and be quite quick at this, so pause me if like I go too fast. Alors, le premier, on a fait le premier ensemble, so we have to have the have, and then ER verb, change to E with an accent. Two more ER verbs here, so exactly the same thing. Il a visité, il a joué, voilà. Mes amis, no. People get this wrong, right? Because when you're talking about mes amis or ma soeur or mes frères, they don't know which pronoun to take. So mes amis is they. So you need to take the il, elle form. So you need mes amis ont joué, mais moi j'ai fait mes devoirs. Alors le quatrième, nous avons mangé à Nando's et j'ai adoré. Numéro 5, now this time, this is one to talk about. Did you get this trap? Because we've got faire, which is an irregular verb, and we got finir, which is an IR verb. So think about our patterns. Elle a fait les devoirs, mais elle a fini les devoirs à minuit. Et puis, attendre. Alors, attendre, I say it to you all the time. Attendre is an RE verb. So what does that RE change to? You should have ils ont attendu Max au bac. Et finalement, c'est j'ai vu et elle a voulu. 2 irregulars. Guys, give yourself a mark out of 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Out of 12 for me today, guys. How many did you get? Mark it up. Alors, right, guys, for this one, we did the first one together again. Second one, it's an IR verb here. So, you need nous avons fini l'école à 3h15 et nous avons attendons. I see this loads because we changed the verb, yeah? But remember, in the past tense, it's the first verb that changes for the person. So, nous avons, and then these don't change. If it's ER, E with an accent. If it's IR, it's an I. And if it's RE, like this verb, it should be a U. Nous avons attendu is what you need. Numéro 3, ils ont fait. People do this, they just put E with the accent and think it's in the past. It's not. Faire is an irregular verb, but fait, voulu, and it goes, ils ont fait beaucoup de sport. Numéro 4, elle a nagé à la piscine pour 2 heures le samedi. Elle adore le week-end, c'est incroyable. Here's your 3 problems. Elle a nagé, elle a adoré, and c'était is what you have. Now this one's all over the place. Tu avais, no, it's either vous avez or tu as, and then vouloir, I don't know what this is. Remember, it changes. Fait, vu, voulu. So it's tu as voulu aller au cinéma. Still gone wrong down here. Elles ont voulu McDonald's parce qu'elles n'ont pas mangé. And then finally, je n'ai pas joué au foot le week-end. Guys, well done if you did Amber difficulty. Let's look at red difficulty then. Now, all of these have got a little trick to them. Let's look at the first one. Le week-end, j'ai fait beaucoup de choses. Sortir, if you're exiting, you are moving. So it's not j'ai, it is je suis sorti. Guys, did you get that extra E? If you didn't add the extra E, it's wrong today. Give yourself a cross. Cross it out. Je suis sorti ma maison à 10h. Et this one isn't a motion verb, meeting, and it's an ER regular verb. So, j'ai rencontré Paul. News, this time it is aller, it is masculine, and it is plural. News is oui. So, you need to take, being this is a motion verb, you don't say we have gone, you say we are gone. So, you need nous sommes allés is nous, so you need to add an S on the end. Nous sommes allés au centre-ville. Et nous, this time it's faire, which is an emotion verb to do because it's not talking about your body moving from one place to another, but it is an irregular verb. Nous avons fait du shopping. Guys, if you're getting our expert level, you are officially an expert. Nice one. Alors, numéro 3, partie 2, mon amie qui s'appelle Sophie. Okay, so here you've got Sophie, who's feminine, and the trap is this. Why is it mon ami when this is feminine here? Because you can't have an A and an A touching. So you can't say ma ami, it changes to mon ami. Mon ami qui s'appelle Sophie, she's feminine and she's arriving, which is a motion verb because it's describing your body moving to a place. So elle, you don't say she has arrived, you say she is arrived late. And if she's a girl, what do you need to do? Add an extra E. Elle est arrivée en retard à 11h. Elle est paresseuse. Remember, arriver en retard doesn't mean to be a retard, it means to be late. So she arrived late. Retard means late in French. Retard in English means, well, Sarubin. Alright, numéro 4, l'après-midi. This is a motion verb again. So it's je suis allé au cinéma et nous avons regardé un film. We could have nous avons vu. I love that. And then finally, this is a motion verb. Rentrer, to come back. So, je suis rentré à la maison à 10h et ma mère était en colère. Elle a crié. Voilà. All right, guys. Mark up how many you got for this. Alors, bon effort, mes petits guys. You've worked so well today. Last thing to do, look through these key questions and see if you can answer them. If you can't, you need to go back and watch the video again. You might want to watch this a few times. You've got to master this year 9. Alors, so the most important thing today then is your homework. Remember, we talked about mastery. You might get this now and understand this now, but are you going to next week or in 2 weeks time or a month's time or in a year and a half when you're doing your GCSEs? So this is so important. We've got loads of activities for you to get on with. You've got a daily test over here. Here we go. So this is, I haven't got all the irregulars and I haven't got all of Mrs. Van der Tramp. If you want to do that, I'll set you the A-level video and you can do the A-level work. Fine with me. And then here you've got some more activities like the ones we've done today to have a look at. And I've told you 2 questions, 10 and 11 from your daily test booklet, which is all online. I sent it you via a link. Any questions with that, just email me, let me know. This is what to do for your homework this week. Remember, like loads of idiots are emailing me, mainly year 7s, going, so when's it due? It's like whenever. We're not in school, you idiots. So like you need to be working hard, you need to be independent. Get this done because it will make a difference when we come back. Right guys, so bon effort aujourd'hui. I hope you're all well and safe guys. Any problems, email me, let me know. I'll see you next time. Merci, au revoir.